Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking Memphis Grizzlies. They actually play the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, and I'm really feeling a Grizzlies win. By the time a lot of you guys watch this video, I bet that game's over. Really hoping Memphis can get the job done against Milwaukee, because it kind of goes into what I want to talk about in today's video. So, did some digging, did some watching. Last year, Memphis made the playoffs. They were the 8th seed, and they lost in 5 games to the number 1 seed, Utah Jazz. And we have Ja Morant's stats right here. They're mind-boggling. I mean, it really is eye-opening. And we're going to talk about why last year's Grizzlies team is almost nothing like, even if they have, similar roster players, nothing like last year's team. There is just a new vibe with Memphis. Not saying that they had a bad vibe last season, but they got a chip on their shoulder right now, and I feel like last year's playoff series was a huge learning lesson for them. So when you're going against Depoy, Rudy Gobert in the first round of the playoffs as an extremely young basketball team, you're not really supposed to win that game. You're just not, or at the very most, even if you're not supposed to, projected wise, it's not greatly in your favor. So Ja Morant last year in the playoffs, 30.2 points, 4.8 rebounds, 8.2 assists, 49 from the field, 32 from downtown. He averaged the 5th most points by any 21-year-old in playoff history. And like I said, this is against the Utah Jazz, who top to bottom defensively, they're all good. I mean, they're all good defensively. And that lane closes. Keep in mind, guys, in the playoffs, lanes close, fouls don't get called as often. So the fact that he was able to average 30 points per game on 49% shooting with 8 assists, I have a feeling he's back for vengeance this year. Welcome back to the channel, though, man. We're talking Grizzlies. This is another day. We've done Grizzlies videos pretty much every day this entire week. If that's something that interests you guys, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We've never hit over like 400 views on any Grizzlies video. So every comment, every like, it really helps out the algorithm. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Let's try and get like 50 likes on today's video. I'd be absolutely ecstatic. Memphis right now, so basically they gave up 123 points a game in last year's series against Utah. And I'm looking at Memphis right now, and I'm thinking to myself, they're probably going to be the 2 seed. Most likely 100% they're going to be, not 100%, 90% they're going to be the 2 seed in the Western Conference. So they're going to play a team in the play-in tournament. They're going to play either the 7th or 8th seed. So you're either going to play like probably Denver, Minnesota, or the Clippers. Talented teams. But as I mentioned, 123 points per game in the playoffs last year, that's not very Memphis-like. It's not very Memphis-like. So let's look at the stats. Let's look at the stats here. This season, they have a defensive rating of 108.8. In today's fast-paced three-point shooting NBA, that's really solid. That is really, really solid. That's good actually for 6th in the NBA. Well, at the same time, they have 114.5 offensive rating, which is good for number 5 in the NBA. So they essentially have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense, much different than last year. The craziest part is, and I talked about this a little bit in my last Grizzlies video, the craziest part is they have an average age of 24. So Memphis right now, way ahead of schedule. I would say even last year they might have even been way ahead of schedule. Right now, Memphis is playing with a huge chip on their shoulder. In 18 games, they're like 15, 16, and 3 without Ja Morant. And that gets me to my main point. This team clicks on all cylinders. They play so seamlessly with each other that they all make everybody better. And I'll say the one thing that really sticks out to me about the Memphis Grizzlies is their pace of, or not their pace of play, which they rank 5th in pace of play, but it's just how energized they are in every game. Win or lose, this team is trying 100% on both ends. You cannot say that about so many teams in the NBA, even the best of the best, the top teams in the East, the top teams in the West. So many of these teams are inconsistent as far as energy goes. Look at the Los Angeles Lakers. That is a dumpster fire as far as energy goes. So Memphis, there's this tenacity. There's this certain thing about this roster that they're out for vengeance. They're literally out for revenge, and they want to prove to the NBA. Have we had a player play over the age of 25 this season? No. Has every other team in the NBA? Yes. Every other team has had a player over the age of 28 years old play a game for their roster this season. But not Memphis. So they're young. They're 24 average age, which if they were to win the finals, that would be, or it would tie for the youngest team to ever win it all. We're getting to that point in the season where Memphis is 51-23, and especially if you're watching this and they just took down the Milwaukee Bucks, these are like the Grizzlies winning the finals is a very legitimate thing to believe. Defensively, Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson, Triple J, and Steven Adams as your 4 and 5 who have gotten a year. Guys like Triple J who are now healthy, might I add. Last year, not the case, yes, at the end of the season, but fully healthy for most of the season, most of the Grizzlies. They got each other's back. So if I'm a team right now in the Western Conference, obviously I don't want to play Phoenix at all either. I don't want to play Memphis. I think legitimately right now the Western Conference Finals might be the Grizzlies versus the Phoenix Suns, which, might I add, as just an NBA fan, that would be the coolest thing ever. Can you imagine? Suns, Grizzlies, these are two teams who a couple of years ago, maybe not necessarily laughing stocks, but one of those teams is going to the NBA Finals. And so Memphis right now, stay healthy, keep that chemistry going, and just keep working hard. That is my one thing with Memphis that I know they're going to do for the rest of the season is just keep pushing. You got guys like Desmond Bane, D'Anthony Melton, Tyus Jones in the absence of John Morant. These guys are not only not afraid of the situation they're in, they're embracing it. And I think that's why they deserve your respect. I think that's why they deserve the NBA's respect. And to be honest with you, I think when Ja's healthy and Ja's throwing some nice stats around, Memphis definitely gets some love, mainly John Morant. But I think they're just, teams don't really respect them as far as you would respect a team like the Phoenix Suns. Although Memphis is right behind them, knocking on their door. They're not going to get to the 1 seed, and Phoenix already clinched that. But if it's not this year, it'll be in the next 5. I mean, every one of these players is up for the challenge. Every one of these players is up for the task of trying to get that NBA final. So Memphis, man, we'll see what happens. Grind City. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, drop a comment down below. Where do you see Memphis finishing this season in the playoffs? How far are they going to go? Then as always, guys, hit that subscribe button. All my links are in the bio. I'll see you all later.